New week, new opportunity. That has been our theme this week for our ladies. Coming off of a loss at Utah Valley, we were able to focus on some things we got to continue to improve on. So we talked about before, we got a very good league, got different styles of play, got to have short-term memory. You don't have, any time to be focusing on what happened last week, but we've got to continue to focus on us and who we are and getting back on track as we go and play a Seattle team who I feel is playing very well right now in the moment. And I talked about this with our team, to not pay attention to records and what they are. It's important to understand, again, you're going into a situation playing a team that has had some success at Southern Utah, probably felt as if they should have won that game. And so we've got to continue to make sure we understand we got to get off to a quick start. And withstanding that and taking care of the ball, I think that's the biggest thing for us. We've been focused on that the last 2 days. I thought we had 2 solid days of practice as we get ready to head to Seattle, and we just want to make sure we continue to focus on that, knowing that we're going to need everybody to be able to contribute and in order for us to get a win on Thursday night.
So speaking about you guys bouncing back after your first loss, talk about the poise of this team and the ability of putting a loss behind them. Talk about the veteran.
Yeah, I mean, the veteran leadership is important, and that, that starts with, Avery Brittingham, who has, been in our program, obviously, the last 2 years now, and Talia Clark as well, Nia Threed as well. So those 3 in particular are the ones that got to continue to understand how this league is. I mean, Aspen Thornton and Zoe Nelson are also ones that know what this league is about. Coy Love, obviously, again, is coming into the league that's new, but her experience does matter. For me, my expectations and to be poised, but to understand that every day, brick by brick, day by day, a win is a win. But we have to make sure we take care of that as we prep for our teams. I challenged our group to understand personnel and understanding that what a team does very well, and not just showing up and expecting that great things are going to happen. We have to prepare that way, and I feel like that's what we did from top to bottom with this group.
You mentioned a player like Coy who's had the experience out of major schools and major conferences. What does a player with her leadership and her presence on the court and off the court, how can that push the ceiling of this team to where you guys eventually want to be at?
Yeah, I think with Coy, I think her biggest thing is I try to again, have small talks with her, because those talks are always valid for her, reminders. Is to be where her feet are, is to be a good teammate, is to set the tone how she practices. That is an important piece for her. She does not have any room for error to not show up and practice very well. I expect all of my players to show up every day and be better in practice, especially her, because she does set the tone with that and how she prepares and she plays. And so, she's got to continue to use her experiences for that, but also understanding what we did well, what she did well, that led to us being able to get off to a 3-0 start. And so now we got to be able to flip the script and go on the road and do the same thing. That's nothing given to us, but it's a very important week, not to look ahead, but, again, like I said, this league is very, very good, and you're going to get everybody's best regardless of where they are in the league. You have to steal games on the road. It's important to do that.
And I want to speak about Talia. She had a good night shooting last game too, so whenever you guys are clicking all cylinders and the shots are hitting from outside, talk about the potential of this team and what you've seen from the team.
Yeah, if you look at the stat sheet when we're at Utah Valley, everything pretty much looks even, right? Again, scoring 75 points. Now, we gave up 86 points. That's not something that we have done in the last couple of games. We're in that. Early on in preseason, in our non-conference, we struggled to really score the ball. And I talked about once this group started to click, we could start hitting shots that matter. And it does start with Talia Clark, because, again, what she has done for us, being a leading 3-point shooter for us last year. She's got to continue to do that as well for our group. But it's not just the three-point shooting that we need her to consistently do. It's for her to consistently show up every night on both ends. Whether, again, it's getting herself to the free throw line, for her to be able to rebound. Defensively, to understand scouts is an important piece too with her experience. And it's a good thing, her and Callie get to go back home in that area to be able to play in front of their families. So I think it's important, but it's an expectation with, my players that return from everybody is to prepare the way that they need to, and understanding that as they prepare, that rolls over to games. But Talia, more so than anything, has got to understand that she's got to be consistent with that every single night, whether her shot's falling down or not. There's other ways for her to contribute, and we need her to do that.
You talked about a little bit being able to translate things at home to on the road. You guys are obviously perfect at home 7-0. Let's talk about the home court advantage that you guys seem to obviously see.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure, that out, how we can carry some of that with us on the road. But, I think that the difference is that being at home versus, being out on the road is that it's our preparation piece. Like, I know we have our fans here, and I think that's a big thing we feed off of. But, I think our biggest thing on the road right now is our starts. We get off to quick starts at home. Like, that's what's been very successful for us. We have not done that on the road. And we got to figure that piece out as, we move forward. And we felt like, me, and our staff talked about it. We made some adjustments of how we're preparing and doing some different things with our team. So hopefully that can relay and translate over to, this experience as we go up to Seattle here this weekend. But, it's about us being aggressive on the road. And another thing is taking care of the ball. I think that those things have been a really, really big glaring piece for our group. We are not taking care of the ball that we need to. And everybody's got to show up, whether you're at home or not. It's the same thing. We have got to be able to get off to quick starts and get stops against teams. And, we did not do that against Utah Valley.
So playing in Seattle on Thursday, and then a quick turnaround for a home game. So how do you prepare for a turnaround like that, especially when you're traveling?
Well, again, it's about taking it one, game at a time, and wins help that, right? It helps that when you can go on the road and play a really good Seattle team at home, that doesn't, put as much pressure on you as you get ready to come home and play a really good Abilene Christian team at home too, right? So it is what it is. We're not going to make any excuses about it. That's the way that the travel is. But you got to get it deep into your bench. That's going to be important too. As I talked about it, we got to get contributions from everybody. We don't have any time for, anybody to be off of their game. Legs are, mentally, and we talked about this. It's about being disciplined, getting the rest that you need to, hydrating. We're going to get right back on the plane after the game and get home. We're going to rest a little bit, and then we're back to it. It's about mental piece of understanding what a team does, but again, not forgetting what we do well. And so I think that everybody's going to be looking at the same situation. Abilene's going to be playing the same thing. Hey, everybody's got to travel and show up and play. And I think it's going to come down to us, these next two games, your bench production. That's going to be a critical piece. What team can get a lot of production off their bench? And, I expect that, from our group. I expect that from Zoe Nelson, Aspen Thornton, Maria Perkins, again, Smalls Goudot. We got to continue to get that from our kids.